This isn't going in there.
The amount of, in the last few episodes, that I've had to cut out of like when you take the tone of, it's a real energy killer. So I have to really, really cut carefully.
Well, I didn't know we were starting, first of all, so
that's all right.
I'm exasperated. Well, first of all, you didn't even get room tone, or at least you didn't announce that you were going to be doing it. So
I did it secretly. I got secret room tone.
Wow. Oh.
How's your neck? Do you have a crick?
No, it's a different thing.
Is it your back? Is it your pussy and or your crack? Is it your wop? Wap? Wop? Wap?
Wap.
Wap.
What are you doing? None of this can... First of all, your mother is basically our only listener.
That could be true. She will learn what a WAP is in the year 2026. I remember when she learned about MILF like 5 years ago. She was delighted.
It's seedy business. It's seedy business.
Yeah, maybe we should avoid all topical references.
Another one of the annoying things, this obviously isn't for the podcast, but that I hate to cut around.
Well, you get to decide what's for the podcast now. Well, maybe people want to hear whatever you're about to say.
Well, what I'm about to say is that a really annoying thing that I have to edit around in podcasts is my terrible laugh, which involves there's always a at the end of it that like I want to try to cut out some empty space so there's not like a huge silence gap, but then in the middle of that there's a that I have to contend with. That.
Oh, wow. You just did.
I just did. I mean, it's a part of my laugh organically. I can't.
Huh.
All right. So it's a Sunday early afternoon in mid-August. Are these the dog days of summer yet, or is that September?
I think these are the dog days.
Yeah, basically second half of August on, I would say. Although summer here lasts until
winter.
November. Yeah, I think. But we are about a week away from the climate conditions being just right for the onset of peak hurricane season here. So I look forward to that. The conditions outside are as they have been for months, which is to say 90 degrees, pouring rain and thunderstorms periodically throughout the day. How's the garden doing? What's in the garden?
Then let us cultivate our garden. It's the only way to make life endurable.
What's in the garden? I did put a couple squash plants in the back.
Whoa,
Yeah.
This is a betrayal. You did not tell me this.
I think you knew this.
Did I?
Well, I don't know if you knew that I was going to do. I mean, I put a couple of squash seeds in some pots a few weeks ago, and they came up, and I decided, all right, well, I'll stick them in the garden back there and see what happens.
You recently proposed a hypothesis for why people grow so much squash that I thought was completely reasonable.
Well, hold on. Not all squash. You're tarring all squash with the brush of zucchini. How dare you? Do you hate all squash?
I hate zucchini.
Yeah, well, it
sucks.
sucks.
And here's, I want to draw a distinction between hating it the way that a child hates to eat a vegetable. The way I hate it is as an adult who recognizes the world of other options that fill any niche that a zucchini could fill better than a zucchini does and would be less wet while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of wet and flavorless. The flavor it does have is primarily bitter.
Yeah, it's a real bummer.
It's just a sponge for flavors, and you could use anything for that. It doesn't have to be zucchini.
And your claim is that people grow them
Because they're easy to grow.
because they're easy.
Not because they like zucchini. Right. Literally nobody thinks, boy, I love zucchini. It's my favorite vegetable. It's just got an unbeatable flavor.
And it's so dry. I love how dry it is. Well, what kind of squash did you put in?
I think the seeds I planted were little patty pan squash. Okay. So they can be harvested young, or you can let them get big. So I figure depending on when the growing season ends here, I mean, I'm getting them in the ground quite late because of the lawnmower incident earlier in the summer that took out all the melons and squash plants. So we may not actually have enough time for them to fully mature, though I'm pretty sure we do down here. Yeah. But we can at least get something out of them since they're sort of harvestable at almost any stage in the.
In what are they delicious?
I mean, I've never grown this particular variety.
You say you can eat them when they're wee
when they're
or
small
big.
Or big, yeah.
I assume it's less bitter when it's small.
I don't know why you think squash is bitter.
Is this a yellow squash?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your intention for this squash?
Again, I think it just depends on when we harvest it.
What are the culinary options that you're considering?
All the usual stuff. I don't know. Pasta, soup, stir fry.
Actually, squash soup is good.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I mean, it usually has cream in it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
The Paul Robeson tomato seeds that you ordered, I planted at the same time.
Right.
And those have come up in the pot, but they're really small. I'm going to be shocked if we can get fruit out of them this season. I mean, again, we're in Florida, so I guess maybe that's still plausible.
Yeah.
But it's hard to imagine.
Do you think if we were willing to stay home all day and run pots back and forth between the front yard and the backyard as necessary, that we could make a garden thrive?
I mean, the thing to do would probably be to install some shade cloth in the front yard. I mean, if we owned this property, we could do all sorts of things to make the front yard feasible as a gardening space.
Well, if we own this property,
we could trim the trees in the back so that there was some
we could do a lot of stuff. We could put up a wall between our house and the neighbors so you wouldn't have to look at their flags.
Yeah.
We could
anyway,
build a moat.
Well, we sort of have a moat.
We do have a natural moat. Okay, so shitty Robeson sprouts. Squash in the ground.
It's not that they're shitty. It's just that the seeds were planted in July. But then again, I think Florida, October, November is peak farmers market season. So I could be totally wrong, and this could be a great time to be starting tomatoes.
You know, it would be illuminating actually to, I mean, we discussed recently that maybe we throw on some masks, head down to the farmer's market here one of these mornings. I mean, it's outside. It's probably a reasonably safe outing, just to see what is being sold there currently.
I think right now is the low season for the farmer's market locally. It has to be because it's been so hot for so long.
Yeah.
It would be what I thought you were going to say is, wouldn't it be illuminating if we did any research at all into how to garden in our current climate instead of just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Which has been my strategy since getting here. I've really chosen to remain as ignorant as possible.
I think there's some whimsical joy in the doing whatever philosophy, throwing seeds in the ground and seeing what happens. Like a explorer.
I am thinking about, so the sweet potato vines have done really, really well.
Yeah.
And they're in a big cloth pot, basically. And I'm thinking about, as the vines grow out of that, putting them in more cloth pots to try to...
pots all the way down?
Yeah. Like a...
What's the biggest cloth pot available?
Well, I mean, the one we have might be... Because it's 3 feet across. Mm-hmm. It's more like a kiddie pool.
Oh, man, I want a kiddie pool.
I think I proposed it at some point when we got here. It would have been nice, but at the point when it was getting hot, there was a real run on kiddie pools. As you'll remember, at the beginning of the summer, they were sold out everywhere. As many things have been through phases of everybody wants one of these things. I think backyard pools have been a real trend of the summer.
Yeah. I mean, I've often fantasized about a couple's side-by-side kiddie pools, holding hands across the two kiddie pools like if we were in a Cialis commercial.
I mean, a stock
Also, I'd take
tub.
Cialis.
A stock tub would be good.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, did you say I take Cialis?
I said also in that fantasy
world?
scenario, I would be taking Cialis.
Do we both take it?
I think
in
so.
this world?
Yeah, let's get high, baby. Yeah, it's not as romantic a vision as like my college friend's garden clawfoot bathtub that she has, but we can slum it.
It's going to be full of bugs here.
Yeah.
Just instantly full of bugs.
Maybe lizards.
Yeah, you might have to scoop drowned lizards out of the kiddie pool.
All right. Well, we had so much fun, I think, doing the Landreth's 1920 catalog some episodes back that we thought occasionally we would do some other vintage catalogs. So for this week, we've chosen the 1960 Steckler Seed Company catalog. Did you know this company existed before?
I sure did.
Yeah, I also didn't. It does not exist now. It was a company out of New Orleans. Looks like their headquarters was on Gravier Street. I looked up the number that they occupied, and it looks like it's right by the river, just south outside of the French Quarter, but like basically right there. So in the heart of things. There's a great resource, incidentally, for old seed catalogs. It seems like the meat of what they have available is sort of catalogs from the early 20th century. Once you start to get into like the 60s and 70s, they don't have too many. But the Biodiversity Library, found at biodiversitylibrary.org, and you can search by year and see what is offered. But we downloaded a PDF of the 1960 Steckler Seed Company catalog. When you download, incidentally, a catalog from this site, the first page of the PDF that you download, it auto-populates with a disclaimer that reads, "Historic archived document. Do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices." So don't draw any important, relevant conclusions about plants from anything we talk about today.
Nor should you ever.
Nor should you ever, yeah. We're unreliable narrators at best. Allison, what do you think of the cover of this catalog?
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. In my mind, it's one of the most striking covers we've ever seen. Here's the vibe I get from it. It seems like it's out of some sci-fi 1984 dystopia sort of deal. The cover is almost all black with white line drawings of some rows of vegetables on a farm, and maybe there's a farmhouse in the background. It looks like the majority of the cover is the black sky peppered with some stars maybe, or I don't know if those are artifacts of the copy, but it looks like maybe 2/3 of the cover is a black sky peppered with a few stars. And there's a giant white line drawn hand. I mean, it's pretty artsy, and it has detail where you can see like the fingerprints on it and stuff. It looks sort of foreboding. But anyway, the whole cover is black and white, and most of it even just a dark black, with the exception of in this giant hand is the reddest tomato you've ever seen. Does this cover make you feel anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does have a real sci-fi vibe, but also maybe we feel that way because it's very much an image of its era, and I think of a lot of classic sci-fi as being right in that era of early 60s.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, it's a little unsettling to me, but beautiful.
It looks like the hand was drawn and then later it was decided to add a tomato.
Yeah.
Like the hand doesn't appear to actually be holding that tomato, but there's a tomato overlaid in the palm. And I think that uncanniness is part of what makes it.
Yeah, that's curious. That's a good observation. Yeah, it's like the tomato is levitating in front of the hand as much as being held by it. But what, like, that's such a fascinating drawing of a hand. Like, you can see, like, you can identify a corpse with the detail of the fingerprints that have been drawn on this. You can also see the fingernails.
Well, I didn't know you were an expert in corpse identification.
Well, it's one of my secret talents. So neither one of us knew anything about this catalog. I went and found a little. This is from Big Easy magazine. It's a post written by Edward Branley just from July of this year that goes into a little bit of detail on the founder of this catalog, Richard Frotscher. Richard Frotscher was a seedsman and a horticulturalist. He was born in Leipzig. While many companies operated mail-order seed businesses, Frotscher established a new angle. He included an almanac and reference guide in his catalog. The data and advice offered by Richard Frotscher focused on growing fruits and vegetables in southern states. As the South transitioned from large plantations to smaller farms, Frotscher's writing reduced the farmer's risk.
It's pretty striking that the Big Easy magazine, as of 2020, uses the phrase "the Southern Rebellion" to describe the American Civil War at least twice in this article. That's pretty stunning, I think.
Yeah,
what a choice.
It's a shame, truly.
Yeah, maybe this isn't the best source.
The best source. But they note that Frotscher sold mirlitons, which is, I didn't know this seed catalog existed, and I sure didn't know that this vegetable existed either. But it's a popular vegetable in Creole French cuisine, also known as the chayote. And it's a gourd that looks like a pear. It's known as...
Does it? I mean, in the same way that people say avocados look like pears, these look like pears. Sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is to say not like pears.
It actually looks more like an avocado than a pear. That's fair. But it's actually a gourd. He sold it as a vegetable pear, like they anglicized it to vegetable pear, I guess, to be, I don't know, less frightening to white audiences or whatever. He did feel, however, that Anglo-Americans didn't fully appreciate this as a vegetable, and he looked to popularize it. So I thought we could check out, and this fellow, he died in 1896, so he, had no input into this 1960 catalog, but they're still selling this vegetable at that point. I can find, incidentally, no place online now to buy seeds for this.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's grown from seed.
Is it not?
Apparently, the way you grow it is by planting the whole fruit. It needs the fruit to stay on the seed in order to grow.
Huh.
And there are some new techniques that let you take a cutting or something and grow it that way. But it looks like it's very difficult to grow from an isolated seed that doesn't still have all the fruit around it.
Interesting.
Which I think explains why it has not taken off in popularity. Apparently, you really need to grow it in a year-round growing climate because the fruits will sprout new plants while they're still on their vine, and it'll propagate that way.
So maybe we could grow it here. Here's the description of this in the 1960 Steckler catalog. For some reason, it's under the category of rutabaga, which doesn't seem right. Vegetable pear.
Or is it just alphabetically vegetable pear comes after rutabaga? It's very confusing because they don't have consistent headings in that case.
Vegetable pear, chayote or mirliton. Planting time, southern states, spring, March to May. The vegetable pear makes an excellent dish whether creamed, fried, stuffed, baked with cheese, or as a salad. It is grown on a long ornamental vine similar to the gourd, to which family it belongs. The vine is usually trailed on a trellis or fence. Plant the whole pair with broad end down, leaving small ends slightly exposed. Never plant less than 2 for successful results of production. You know, a preparation of vegetables that is underutilized today is the creaming. I don't think we cream enough things. We cream corn, of course. We cream broccoli.
Wait, you think of creamed broccoli before you think of creamed spinach?
Yes, but now that you mention it, spinach is another one. But there aren't a lot of things we cream regularly.
Do you want to try to grow these things?
I want to try to cream some things. I mean, it seems like we could try to grow these. We have the climate.
Yeah, and I mean, they appear to be considered an ornamental, so we could probably put them in the front and use them to cover up our big tub, make it look a little nicer.
Yeah. I sent you a picture, incidentally, of what this article claims anyway might be the earliest photographic image of a mirliton. I don't know if you looked at it, but it was taken by surrealist photographer Clarence John Laughlin, and it looks absolutely disgusting in this image.
Yeah, it's a pretty weird image.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I don't know, a slug casting a weird shadow or something in this image. Imagine the first image of a particular plant that anyone could see being one taken by a, quote, surrealist photographer. It's not the kind of picture you would put in a seed catalog to show your customers what this would look like. Cool picture, though.
Did you navigate to the next image in that set? Because this makes it look pretty unappealing as a food.
Yeah, maybe I should link to this series of pictures. This one, this next picture makes it look sort of like a underripened strawberry or something.
It's very spiky.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know how to, I mean, maybe the spikes don't actually hurt, but it looks like it would hurt if you tried to pick it up like a cactus that's
Sure.
covered in spikes.
It's worth noting that the botanist David Fairchild, who would I guess go on to like do a bunch of documenting of plants for the USDA, learned about the mirliton when he visited New Orleans, and specifically the Steckler Seed Company, where they directed him to talk to Frenchmen who grew these. So that's how he learned about them.
Well, I have some bad news for you. I just looked up a description of what the mirliton
Tastes like? Oh no. Is it disgusting?
It's described as tasting a little like zucchini.
Damn it. But did that person try it creamed? I mean, this catalog invites us to stuff it with cheese. I would never think to stuff zucchini with cheese, I don't think. Maybe I should.
Oh, and apparently if you're not saying chayote, you should say mirliton.
Mirliton? Mirliton?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess it's French.
Mirliton. Is it? Who knows?
Who knows? We won't do the research. That's one thing I know for sure. All right, you want to get into some other descriptions in this catalog? They offer some categories of things that I don't always see in catalogs, which I think are cool. Do you want to go to page 20 and look at the category hardy grasses for healthy profits? They say we have the finest and best assortment of field and lawn grass seeds offered in the South. These selected varieties are grown for us by the best growers in the United States. Our 100 years of experience is behind our selection of seeds and growers.
Okay, well, the first entry is Bermuda grass, which I think people usually regard as an annoying pest. Now, am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're right.
Bermuda grass. Plant from late February to September. 20 pounds per acre for lawns, and 30 pounds for golf courses, and 40 for levee protection. Bermuda is used more extensively than any other grass on lawns, golf courses, and levee protection. It has a narrow, thin leaf of dark green color, spreads quite rapidly, and grows very well in the South. It dies down with a heavy frost in the fall, but comes in the spring. It does not do well in the shade, but is very hardy where it has sunshine. Takes about 30 days to start.
Sounds like New Orleans should have planted a lot more Bermuda grass for levee protection than too soon.
Yeah. Don't think Bermuda grass is going to be enough.
To save it from succumbing to the ocean waters, as it will. I mean, it goes to show that the modern idea of what a lawn should be is quite a recent invention. Like something we would consider to be undesirable pest grass was a perfectly acceptable lawn cover at this point.
Yeah.
Here's carpet grass. Plant from February to September, 20 pounds per acre for lawn, 30 pounds for golf courses. This is a much coarser grass than Bermuda, but will stand drought and hot weather better, and also stays green longer in the fall. It is a natural perennial in Louisiana. It is used extensively in lawns, golf courses, fairways, and parks. It stands more shade than Bermuda, takes about 30 days to start. Carpet grass is also used extensively for meadows and pastures in the South. I mean, carpet grass sounds very cozy. Sounds like my feet would enjoy being on it.
Though from the description, it seems like it's not particularly plush.
I guess it is coarse or coarser.
Now, this next entry, centipede grass, I wonder why this, if we insisted on having lawns, this seems like the ticket.
It does.
Centipede grass, low growing, thrives in shade or sun, requires little mowing, grows in rich or poor soil, and requires very little fertilization. Finer in texture than St. Augustine. So you don't have to mow it and it grows anywhere. Why is that not our default for lawns?
What is it? Does it say what its water consumption is?
It does not say anything about that.
I guess that could be a sticking point. Here's a clover, the white blossom sweet. So 20 pounds per acre from February to April for spring and September to December for fall. Resembles alfalfa in appearance and will grow luxuriantly on soils rich in lime and of insufficient depth for successful growing of either alfalfa or red clover.
Lespedeza, or Japan clover. One of the best clovers that can be planted in the South, planted at the rate of 1 bushel to the acre from December to May. If sown on sod, the land should first be scarified with a disc harrow in order to give the seed a good seedbed. Thrives on very poor soils and continually improves them, at the same time yielding a highly profitable and nutritious forage. 1 bushel to the acre, 25 pounds to the bushel.
I love the idea of a bushel as a unit of measurement. Someone posted a picture. There was like some local news network had a headline where a sinkhole had opened up in a street. And the headline was, "Sinkhole approximately the size of 7 washing machines opens in the middle of the street." And someone commented on it, "Americans will do anything to not have to use metrics."
It's really true.
Wow, I've never seen the advice to scarify.
7 washing machines?
A sinkhole the size of about 7 washing machines, it said.
Truly bizarre.
Yeah.
Why don't we just learn math?
We really don't want to do that. How many hogsheads was that sinkhole? That's what I need to know. How long was the opening in lengths of our president's forearm? Our current president's forearm.
I can only visualize space in units of football fields.
Yeah.
Multiples or fractional football fields.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I literally have no sense of how big a football field is.
Also, aren't football fields, the marks on them are expressed in yards? Like, we could just say however many yards a football
Yeah,
field
right.
is. Probably 100.
I think 100.
We really, truly want to avoid numbers at all costs.
Well, it's worked so well for us thus far.
Well, who's to say what's more and less if you don't have an exact number attached to anything?
Yeah. What is this implying that vetch is a crow repellent?
Yeah, this doesn't make very much sense to me. This seems like it falls into the category of warning may not be supported by current scientific evidence.
So vetch, I believe vetch, which is, God knows what that is.
I think it's a legume.
Okay. I think
That's
they're
used as sort of a cover crop.
I see. I think they're trying to tell us that vetch is a crow repellent. It says
It says in all caps, headline font, crow repellent.
Yeah, but I'm not sure it's talking about the vetch, but maybe it is. It says it protects your corn plantings by keeping off crows, larks, blackbirds, and other corn pulling birds, as well as moles, woodchucks, squirrels, etc. Does not clog the planter. Protects the corn from rotting. Not poisonous and will not injure the seed.
That sounds all pretty weird to me.
All right. I would like to read, and I know this doesn't exactly fall under the category of seed descriptions, but if you turn to page 38, there's a section titled Dog and Cat Remedies and Supplies. Do you think Lucy needs a remedy?
Well, certainly.
I'm fascinated by the names of some of these products. They read like, I don't know if you ever had if you were looking at like a comic book in the 70s, there'd be an area at the back of the comic book where you could send away for like a whoopee cushion or some sort of novelty product. These really seem out of that aesthetic to me.
Wow. Yeah, I really wish I knew what these products actually were.
I mean, all kinds of incredible poisons, I'm sure. They have a liquid chaperone, which protects shrubs, trees, flower, and vegetable gardens. Dogs stay away from anything sprayed with Sudbury liquid chaperone. You don't smell it. Dogs do, and stay away.
They also have dog and kitty chaperone and rabbit chaperone, as well as Sudbury puppy trainer, which contains liquid chaperone, powder chaperone, flea powder, and dry cleaning powder.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of toxins all these things are, but they can't be good. You can buy a new flea scat pad. Easy to rid dogs of fleas, ticks, lice, etc. Lasts for months. Pleasant cedar aroma. Leaves pet with clean, wholesome fragrance. Wow, I'd love it if Lucy had a wholesome fragrance. You can get Polvex Sponge Away. Stops dog scratching. Sponge Away solution sponged on your dog or used as a dip. Kills fleas, lice, ticks. Destroys doggy odor. Promotes healing of sores, abrasions of summer eczema from scratching for fleas. How many of these do you think contain human urine and or ink?
Whoa, why would, what?
That's a classic traveling huckster scam artist.
Oh, I see.
When you're selling a potion as a traveling salesman, you would sell ink and your own urine.
Polvex Dry Cleaner. Cleans dog without soap and water and exposing him to colds. No fuss or muss, just sprinkle on dog's coat, rub on to hide, brush out. Removes dirt, destroys doggy odor, leaves hide glowing and hair glistening. A must during winter for all dogs, particularly desirable for puppies.
Is this claiming you would expose your dog to a cold by cleaning them with soap and water?
Yes.
Huh. I feel like that's another. Don't assume that this document contains current scientific knowledge.
Dog dessert. Dog Yummies, wholesome dessert for dogs and cats, satisfies their longing for a harmless sweet.
You know
Whoa.
how dogs deeply desire that their sweets be harmless. Okay, wait, we missed a big one, which is right above that. Pulvex flea powder contains DDT. That's advertised as though that's a perk.
Yeah, definitely.
Quickly kills the fleas instead of merely stupefying them. Now, yeah, if you get this DDT flea powder, you can make sure to quickly kill the fleas instead of merely stupefying them, allowing them to revive and reinfect. All over dusting also kills lice. Weekly pulvexing usually immunizes dogs against having fleas at all.
How many people do you think have old cans of Pulvex dog DDT in their garages?
I mean, honestly,
barns?
grandparents everywhere, I assume.
Wait, Pulvex Vitaverve?
Yeah, hit me with that.
It's got a Vita Vita Vegemin quality.
Hmm.
Vitaverve. Combination of powdered vitamins and minerals. An ideal food supplement for puppies and growing dogs, for sick or aged dogs. Just mix this palatable powder in dog's food and he will get his minimum daily requirements of vitamins A, B1, D, G, and of calcium, phosphorus, and iron.
What the fuck is vitamin G?
Hold on.
Is that a special dog vitamin?
I don't know, but when I search vitamin G, the top result is a paid ad that says, see top 5 brain pills, how to avoid scams. Vitamin B2 might used to have been called vitamin G.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, I think we've renamed it since as B2.
Here's sulfadine. Don't blame fleas, mange, diet. If your dog itches, scratches continually, it is probably not due to fleas, mange, or diet. 2 to 1, it's fung itch. Grass-borne fungus infection, long a puzzle to science. Fung itch starts as an itch, followed by dandruff-like scales or sores with brownish edges and moldy odor, like Joyce Carol Oates' foot.
Well, that's going to be
That's going to be
so
a
far out
very
of
dated
date.
reference. Hey, everybody, Google Joyce Carol Oates' feet pics if you want a real treat. Okay, fungitch starts as an itch, followed by dandruff-like scales or sores with brownish edges and moldy odor, or infection in ears and paws, underbody, tail, or eyes. May lead to most serious results, costly care, even total loss. Ugh, what a weird way to say your dog might die, to describe it as, quote, total loss. But now a noted specialist's discovery, sulfadine, applied externally, stops itching in minutes, clears up scales and sores in a few days. Thank God a, quote, noted specialist discovered this.
Wow, they've got a bunch of different bird foods as well. Here's some of the different bird foods they have. These are canary ones.
Wow.
They've got molting food, Vigorade, color food, egg delight, diarrhea food.
Whoa. To stop your parakeet from having diarrhea?
This is to stop your canary from having
diarrhea. Is that a huge problem for canaries?
Probably. Iron and blood tonic.
Yep.
Cold relief. And then they have parakeet foods as well. Parakeet vitalizer, parakeet molting food, parakeet nesting and mating food, parakeet tonic and bitters combined.
All right, well, we should probably hit up just a few more actual garden seed descriptions before we peace out. Do you want to look at, I'm interested in the peas section, which they divide into peas for table use and cow or field peas.
Yeah, and the cow and field peas section will maybe complement our earlier grass and cover crop
Mm,
readings anyway.
Sure.
But I'm happy to read both kinds of peas.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, the funniest one I see in field peas, I'm going to skip right to it, is mixed peas.
Hmm.
Often, thousands of bushels of field peas become mixed. And often farmers request a mixture of good varieties. These mixtures are becoming very popular. Which really reads like, oops.
We gotta get rid of these fucked up, mixed up peas we got. Many people are saying that they love this mistake that we made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Often thousands of bushels of field peas become mixed.
Yeah, it was on purpose, we promise. The blue goose table pea is known also as the tailor, a large, early, speckled pea with long pods. Fine for table, a splendid soil improver and stock feed.
Back to field peas. Brabham. Grows upright, very heavy producer, retains foliage very well while being cured. Very vigorous growing, an excellent variety, very popular.
Let's end with a couple. It's on the same page under the velvet and soybeans section. The pair that I feel like these are both, I should be pronouncing as Creole words, but have no idea how to. But the first one is the Otootan, spelled Otootan. A very fast growing plant, growing 4 to 5 feet high, fine stems and delicate leaves. Cures quickly, makes hay of finest texture and very fine quality. It leads the field for silage or forage. Jet black, rather small, a half-peck plants an acre, 2.5 to 3 feet between the rows, extensively used throughout the South. And then immediately below that, the avoyelle, I guess, developed in Louisiana, grows very similar to the Otootan, sometimes called improved Otootan. Seeds are much larger. The worms past year in Louisiana did no damage to the avoyelle, but ruined the Otootan. I love when in a seed description it completely shits on another seed that they also sell.
Yeah, I mean, they're not able to claim resists worm or whatever,
Yeah.
but they're reporting an anecdotal observation, I guess.
That's what you count on. Okay, let's end with a short, it's sort of a combination, I thought, a celebrity gardening news segment crossed with a game.
Okay, great.
Maybe it's a what the fuck is. I guess it's a what the fuck is that.
What the fuck is that?
What isn't a what the fuck is that?
Fair point.
All right, so TMZ has a picture gallery titled Quarantine Gardening, Stars Going Green. And it shows a variety of celebrities doing some manner of gardening over these last few terrible months. And the game will be, I'll tell you who the celebrity is. And you can tell me what you think they're doing in the garden or what sort of plant you think they're dealing with or vegetable they're carrying. What do you think they're doing?
Wow, this is very challenging. I can tell immediately this is going to be
The
nearly
greatest challenge will
impossible.
be us not knowing who any of these people are, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, let's first see if I can even say who that is.
I mean,
when
I'm
you
going to
tell me
leave
their
I'm going to leave in how many of these we don't know who they are also. Tiffany Haddish.
I know who that is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Who's Tiffany Haddish?
She is a comedian and she's on Tuca and Birdie. She does
Okay.
She does Tuca's voice.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, wow. That's great. Tuca and Birdie, friends of the pod.
Friends of the pod, yeah. Exactly. In that we know who they are.
Yeah, it's a great show.
It is a good show.
All right, what do you think that Tiffany Haddish is doing in her garden?
Well, I've got peas on the brain now, but it's way too late in the year for her to be harvesting peas. Also, I think it's been pretty hot in LA this summer, which is where I assume she lives, though I guess I don't actually know where she's experiencing the pandemic or where she normally lives, since I don't know very much about her. I think she's in movies too, actually.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think these are all food gardens, or some of them are. Okay. I think she's growing flowers.
Okay. So she is seated. I don't know what she is wearing. It's actually pretty weird. She looks like her bottom is a mermaid. I guess it's a dress. I don't know. But in any case, she's seated in her garden. She's looking at the camera like she is exasperated that someone is taking her picture. I assume it's a friend or partner or something. I think it's clear she didn't want this picture taken. So I don't know how TMZ has it, but she has a trowel in her hand and she appears to be working in a garden. There's some beautiful red leaf lettuce, and it looks like she is working with a rosemary bush, maybe something. It's looking pretty dried out and bad, but the lettuce looks great.
Okay, well, I guess that's 0 for me so far.
I mean, how could you possibly get any of this? All right, Christy Brinkley.
That name is familiar, but I don't know who she is.
Wow. She might be the most famous person on this list.
She's famous from like the 80s and 90s.
She's famous from the 80s and 90s. I want to say that she was a like Sports Illustrated swimsuit lady at one point.
That's what she's famous for.
And then I think she was also the CoverGirl spokesperson for a million years. I'm sure she's
How do you know so much about Christy Brinkley?
Well, I knew that second fact because I pulled up the Wikipedia just now.
Oh, I see.
I think she's famously married to Billy Joel. She was married to Billy Joel for a long time. In any case, do you want to guess what she's doing in her garden? What a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model from the 80s would be doing in her garden?
I think she's wearing a visor and she is pruning something with pruning shears. She's pruning and wearing a visor.
So this is among the more performative images in this. I'm not exactly sure what she's doing. She's dug a bunch of holes to bury seeds in. She's smiling at the camera. She has a mask around her neck. She's not wearing it. She's holding up pictures of the plant she's planting, or maybe they're enormous seed packets.
Those are bulbs.
Oh, okay.
Those are the packets of bulbs that she's about to plant that she's holding up.
Gotcha. There's a tiny little dog at her feet and she is beaming. She looks like she's at her country home is how I would describe it. Martha Stewart.
Drinking a margarita while her gardener plants things.
Oh, they're going to say, well, her gardener goes down on her or something like that.
Oh, wow.
There are actually 2 pictures of Martha Stewart on here, I believe. She's shockingly not drinking in either of them. But in this image, she's wearing denim overalls with large, beautiful flowers in her front pockets, a very cute garden hat. She's in what I can only assume is her own personal greenhouse. Do you think she lives a terrific life?
Oh boy, she sure does.
Eva Longoria.
She's on TV.
She could very well be in this image. It's the most.
Wait, I thought I was supposed to say if I knew what they were famous for first.
She is. She was on TV. I think she was on Desperate Housewives.
Is she harvesting radishes?
She is not. She is wearing a flowing, leisurely white shirt and rolled up denim jeans. This looks like a very professional photograph. She appears to be teaching her small child of maybe 1 or 2 years old how to plant seeds. The child's in a onesie.
That's a nice picture.
It's a nice picture. We're supposed to believe she's a great mom. And I accept that.
I see no evidence to the
She's
contrary.
How about Robin Thicke of Blurred Lines fame?
Is he shutting up forever and fucking himself?
If only. He's also with a small child. He's seated. This appears to be his estate, I can only assume. Usually celebrities have the good taste to not put a picture up that shows the true extent of the luxury they live in. But I feel like you can really see like the grandeur of his estate here. But he's seated on the edge of a raised bed. Not like the sort of raised bed that regular people have, but it's like a permanent installation. And his presumably small child, also of approximately the same age as the last one, is seated on it in a way that if I were the parent, I wouldn't feel comfortable that this child were seated on a high ledge in the way that he is. So maybe he's doing bad parenting in this one.
It's hard to tell how high that ledge is, and he is right behind the child. I don't see any sign of imminent
Danger.
Head injury.
Adam Grenier? No, Adrian Grenier?
No.
Okay. He's holding corn up like it's a fucking enormous sword or something like that.
That's pretty funny.
What about Oprah? It's such a weird picture for Oprah to have put out into the world.
Okay, what would Oprah be doing in her garden that's weird?
It's a weird picture to, if you're a celebrity, to like would be a weird picture to post on Instagram or to give to a magazine or something like that.
So she's not doing any glamorous.
It's not glamorous.
task. Is she turning her compost with a pitchfork?
No, I think that would be a thing a celebrity would show themselves doing because it would make them seem down to earth or something like that. This image she is absolutely dwarfed by an enormous cabbage in it. The cabbage takes up 3/4 of the image and she is obstructed and blurry behind it.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, it's a cool, enormous cabbage for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's an endearing picture.
Yeah, I think it's a nice picture, actually. Oprah's not the sort of person to be careless with her image. I'm sure that was...
I mean, a perfectly manicured cabbage pic. Well, celebrities, just like us.
They're just like us.
Are they better gardeners than we are? They're better gardeners than I am, probably. I assume immediately after each of these photographs, they stepped out of frame and their actual gardeners returned to complete the task that they were pictured doing. All right, well, you can elect to follow us if you so choose on Twitter at @CDBusiness or on Instagram at CDBusinessPod. You can write to us at cdbusinesspod@gmail.com. And if you've properly repelled your crows from them, then you will have the luxury of eating your vegetables.
We're all just doing the best we can.
Speak for yourself.
It's CD business. It's CD business. Boring talk about seeds, CD talk between boys. Mind-numbing chatter about ovules and spores. We'll take a ditch and we'll moan and split the difference. It's CD business. It's CD